Why Middle Eastern people have the lowest cancer rates in the world? Cancer. Just the word is enough to send shivers throughout the body. Described as the silent killer, cancer can be a difficult experience, not just for the patient, but also for their loved ones. In recent years, the field of cancer has seen some advanced developments. These developments have managed to bring cancer under control to a great extent, and it is no longer the scary monster it once was, but it still invokes fear. But what exactly is cancer? Cancer is a disease in which some cells in the body grow uncontrollably and abnormally, and spread to other parts of the body. Trillions of cells that make up our body normally grow and multiply to form new cells. Old cells die, and new ones take their place. Sometimes this process malfunctions. Damaged cells grow and multiply. Because they are abnormal, they can form tumors, which are small lumps of tissue. Tumors can be cancerous or benign. The cancerous tumors spread through the body and form new tumors. There are many causes of cancer. It can be genetic. It can be caused by tobacco, physical inactivity, dietary problems and alcohol consumption, infections, environmental pollution, exposure to harmful chemicals, radiation, etc. 198 out of every 100,000 people in the world get cancer. The Middle East has some of the lowest rates of cancer in the world. In Saudi Arabia, 96 out of every 100,000 people get cancer. For Yemen, the number is 97 per 100,000 people. In Oman, 104 out of every 100,000 people are affected by cancer. 107 out of 100,000 people get cancer in Qatar as well as in the United Arab Emirates, while 116 out of every 100,000 people get cancer in Kuwait. These numbers are much, much lower compared to the rest of the world. 468 out of every 100,000 people in Australia get cancer. Australia has the highest rate of cancer in the world. In Ireland, 374 out of 100,000 people have cancer. For Hungary, the figure is 368 per 100,000 people, while in the USA, it is 352. While the Middle East has some of the lowest cancer rates in the world, it has an extremely high rate of sugar consumption. This is quite contradictory, seeing as how cancer needs sugar to develop and grow. The Middle East consumes more sugar than many parts of the world, and yet the region has the lowest rates of cancer. They do have other issues, though. Middle East countries have a lot of diabetes and obesity problems, which, looking at their sugar consumption, is not very surprising. But the low rates of cancer make you wonder, how? There are a few reasons why people in the Middle East have lower rates of cancer than any other country in the world. Fasting and Ramadan. Fasting during Ramadan is one of the 5 pillars of Islam. Ramadan is a religious month of fasting. It is a type of intermittent fasting. It consists of alternate fasting and feasting periods, so they practice the fast from sunrise to sunset, which means that they only eat before sunrise and after sunset for the entire month. Just a month of this type of fasting results in a tremendous drop in potential rates of cancer. Intermittent fasting has some amazing health benefits. Over the past few years, many studies have shown that intermittent fasting, or fasting mimicking diet, can reduce risk factors for health conditions like cancer. The human body is built to protect you against starvation. This means that your body can survive well even when food is scarce. This is by storing a reserve of nutrients that are needed for you to survive. When you don't eat like other days, the cells get under mild stress, and your body releases the stores to fuel itself. Your body won't have any negative effects as long as it has time to heal itself after this period. Hippocrates, the foundational father of medicine, has extensively talked about fasting. He said, "But to eat when sick is to feed the illness." When you are sick, you don't feel like eating anything because your body rejects food to heal and feel better. One effect that you will see immediately is weight loss. Your body is using more calories than it's consuming. Many types of cancer have obesity as one of the major risk factors. There are also many animal studies and a few human trials that have shown a decrease in the risk for cancer or a decrease in the growth of cancer. How is fasting related to low rates of cancer? There are 10 to 50 times more insulin receptors in a cancer cell than in a regular cell. This means that cancer cells need sugar to grow. When doctors do a PET scan to diagnose cancer, the scan identifies the areas of the body that have a high sugar metabolism. Fasting leads to decreased blood glucose production. When you fast, you are not consuming any glucose. As a result, the cancer cells have nothing to feed on and they start depleting. Fasting stimulates autophagy. In the process of autophagy, old damaged proteins and mitochondria are recycled. Cancer is technically a result of damage to your mitochondria. When the mitochondria are damaged for some reason, it adapts their metabolic system so that they can deal with energy differently, with a lot of glucose. When you fast, you kickstart the autophagy process, thus recycling these damaged mitochondria cells and lowering the risk of cancer. You generate new immune cells when you fast. The stem cells are triggered, which also help regenerate the immune system. Your system becomes much stronger, which helps you fight off the bad cells in your body. There is also an increase in the production of tumor-killing cells. These killer T cells are strong enough to directly kill the cancer cells in your body, along with the helper T cells that are generated, which help reduce cancer indirectly. Fasting also helps to greatly reduce inflammation. The cancer spreads easily to areas of inflammation in the body. Fasting is anti-inflammatory, which is how it lowers the risk of cancer spreading. Fasting also helps increase the networks of antioxidants, resulting in decreased risk of cancer. When you fast, you are also consuming a very balanced meal, resulting in the intake of all the necessary nutrients. A healthy body will be better equipped to fight cancer cells. Researchers also believe that fasting makes cancer cells more responsive to chemotherapy. According to a 2016 study, fasting can also improve the quality of life in people with breast and ovarian cancer undergoing chemotherapy. This is because fasting helps cells regenerate, protects the blood against negative effects of chemotherapy, and reduces the side effects of chemotherapy, such as fatigue, nausea, and cramps. Most Muslims in the world follow Ramadan fasting. Apart from that, Islam also encourages fasting on Mondays and Thursdays. The Middle East's long history with medicine. Middle Eastern medicine during the post-classical era was the most advanced in the world. The Islamic Golden Age had physicians and scientists whose works continue to impact and inspire the science of medicine even today. Islamic thinkers also extensively studied ancient Greek theories and made many medical discoveries. They wrote complex literature on medicine, diseases, diagnoses, treatments, and cures, incorporating theories about natural science, astrology, alchemy, religion, philosophy, and mathematics. They believed that medicine was an amalgamation of many other sciences. It is said that the doctors in the West first learned of Greek medicine by reading Arabic translations. Muhammad al-Razi was known as the father of Islamic medicine. Born in 854, he studied in depth the works of important men in medicine like Hippocrates and Galen. The Greek physician Hippocrates is considered the father of Western medicine. Galen was a Greek doctor during the 2nd century AD in Rome. Al-Razi not only studied their texts, but also challenged some of the theories. Ibn Sina, born in 980, was described in medieval Europe as the father of early modern medicine. He made many discoveries and suggested improvements to some existing ones. Some other great thinkers and physicians of the era were Al-Kindi, Ibn al-Nafis, Serapion, Al-Tabari, Al-Hakam, Yuhanna ibn Masawi, Hunayan ibn Nishak, and more. All these incredible men contributed greatly to medicine as we know it today. Medieval Islam was truly a golden age for medicine. This period saw some of the greatest medical thinkers in history, making advances in modern medical science like surgery, the development of medical schools, and pharmacy as an institution, cataract surgery, the discovery of quarantine, and so much more. They built hospitals and even welcomed women into the profession. Foods and spices. The cuisine of the people living in the Middle East, as well as the spices used in their cuisine, is a factor in the low cancer rates of the region. If you ever walk around the souk or marketplaces of the Middle East, you will most definitely find herbs and spices stacked in many of the shops. Herbs and spices are not just to add delicious flavors to dishes, they are also used as medicines, based on observations and experiments from thousands of years ago. Turmeric is one of the most used spices in the Middle East and has many anti-cancer properties. Not just that, it also helps with inflammation. Saffron also includes a phytonutrient that has anti-cancer properties. Cardamom, nutmeg, caraway, cinnamon, and coriander all have anti-cancer and anti-tumor properties and are major ingredients of Middle East cuisine. Middle Eastern cuisine has blown up all over the world in the last few years, and with good reason. It is one of the yummiest and the healthiest cuisines in the world. Hummus, a popular spread made with ground chickpea, has fans all over the world. It is mostly used as a dip or a spread to eat with the main dish. The spread is full of vitamins and nutrients, and science shows that hummus and all its ingredients have many health benefits, including fighting inflammation, improving blood sugar control, good digestive health, lower risk of heart disease, and weight loss. Almost all the ingredients used to make Middle Eastern cuisine have anti-cancer properties. Vegetables like cabbage, cauliflower, chard, kale, watercress, and radish all have anti-cancer properties and certain compounds that can stop the growth of tumors and even kill T cells. Many studies have found that raw cabbage especially reduces the incidence of breast cancer. Pomegranate is a great fruit that has been known to suppress the growth of any cancer cells in the body. Pomegranate is one of the major ingredients in Middle Eastern cuisine. It is used in many meat dishes, sauces, and garnishing. Traditional Lebanese plants like walnuts and purslane yield omega-3 fatty acids, which protect the body against breast cancer and stop the growth of tumors. Fattoush salad is eaten with purslane and other leafy vegetables and makes a great healthy combination. Muhammara, a dip made of pomegranate syrup, along with walnuts and burgul, is potent enough to keep cancer cells at bay. Whole grains like burgul and frike, which are local in the Middle East, are also important to fight against cancer, along with lentils, chickpeas, white beans, and other beans. Low tobacco usage in women. Smoking is a major risk factor for lung cancer. It also causes many other lung diseases and respiratory problems. 20% of all the cancers we know about are caused by smoking or chewing tobacco. There are around 5,000 different chemicals in tobacco, out of which 70 are directly linked to cancer. With all the shisha that the Middle East is famous for, it's a wonder how the cancer rates are low in this region. However, the rate of tobacco usage is quite low among the women of the Middle East. While the men's consumption of tobacco is quite high, if you sum up the usage of the entire population of the Middle East, the women's consumption is so low that it brings down the average of the entire population. 20% of the world's population smokes. However, in Iraq, only 3% of the total women population smokes. 9% of Yemen's population smokes, while Kuwait and Saudi Arabia account for 3% and 2% of the women population who smoke. The UAE has only 0.8% of women who smoke, while for Oman it is just 0.7%. On the other hand, 40% of women in Chile and 41% in Serbia smoke. Vaping can also cause cancer of the colon and the lungs because of the nicotine and other chemicals present. Prohibition of alcohol in many places. Alcohol is prohibited in many areas in the Middle East. Consumption of alcohol can increase the risk of up to 7 types of cancer, including breast cancer and colorectal cancer. Drinking alcohol also puts you at a greater risk of cancer in the liver and in the oropharyngeal area, which includes the area in the back of the throat, the back of the tongue, and the roof of the mouth. If you consume alcohol, you are obviously more at risk of getting cancer than someone who doesn't. But drinking alcohol doesn't mean that you will surely get cancer. How exactly does alcohol cause cancer? Damage to cells. When we consume alcohol, it is converted into the chemical acetaldehyde by the body. Acetaldehyde can cause damage to our cells and also stop the cells from repairing damage. Hormonal changes. Alcohol causes changes in some of the hormones in the body. It increases the levels of hormones like estrogen and insulin. Hormones are chemical messengers. Higher hormone levels mean the cells divide more often, increasing the chance of developing cancer cells. Changes to cells in the mouth and throat. Alcohol consumption can cause the cells in the mouth and throat more likely to absorb harmful chemicals, making it easier for substances that cause cancer to enter the cells and cause damage. Islam prohibits the consumption of alcohol and tobacco. That is why the people of the Middle East, who mostly follow Islam, are at very low risk of getting this type of cancer. Rising cancer rates in the Arab world. Cancer is growing at an alarming rate in Arab countries. Once holding the place for the lowest cancer rates in the world, the Gulf states and the Eastern Mediterranean region, EMR, countries are showing a scary rise in the number of cancer patients. Research shows that by 2030, there would be a 1.8-fold increase in cancer incidence. In a 2016 report by the Statistical, Economic, and Social Research and Training Center for Islamic Countries, more than 1.5 million cancer cases were diagnosed in 2012, and Islamic countries accounted for 11% of those cases. Even with the prohibition of smoking, it is one of the most common factors that cause cancer in the Middle East, especially lung cancer. As smoking rates decrease around the world, up to 50% of the population of the Middle East and North Africa, MENA, uses tobacco. Women in the region are much less likely to smoke, but they are at a huge risk of getting breast cancer. In 2016, 11 women per 100,000 from the Arab region died due to breast cancer. Arab women report much lower rates of breast cancer than women in other regions, but that seems to be changing. There is a gradual increase in breast cancer cases in the Arab region, especially in the wealthier states. This could be because of the lifestyle changes that are eventually occurring, such as late marriages and pregnancies, using oral contraceptives, and an increase in obesity and consumption of alcohol and tobacco. Egypt, Bahrain, Jordan, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE report the highest rates of obesity, from 74 to 86% in women and 69 to 77% in men. This is significantly higher than the global average of 13%. According to the World Health Organization, cancer has become a health priority in the EMR. The WHO Cancer Control Strategy is focused on reducing cancer cases and improving the quality of life of cancer patients and their families. The biggest problem in the EMR is the lack of any accurate documented data. Most Arab countries have population-based cancer registries, but data about cancer mortality is limited. There is a major lack of population-based studies. While one side of the Middle East has the most advanced healthcare facilities, there is the other side that finds it difficult to access healthcare, is lacking in infrastructure and trained professionals, as well as in awareness and insufficient understanding of cancer. There is a severe need for the improvement of regional and national cancer registries and health education campaigns. There should be prevention and control measures targeting risk factors that can be modified through early detection, primary and secondary prevention, and protection of the population's health and well-being. Did you know about the reasons why Middle Eastern people have low rates of cancer? Tell us in the comments. If you found this video interesting, like and share. Subscribe to our channel for more such content.